time management is life management. It is personal management. About 25 years ago, I began a lifelong search for the answer to the question, why is it that some people are more successful than others? Why is it that some people earn more money, they have better jobs, they get promoted more rapidly, they live longer, they have better health, they have happier relationships? I have spent over 30,000 hours studying, and I've come to a very simple conclusion, that successful people are those who do things differently from unsuccessful people. I've also come to another conclusion, is that you or anybody can be far more successful at life or at anything that you want if you will simply learn how and practice it over and over again until it becomes a habit.
Hey there! It's hard to find good help for many people today. With so much information, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and that you don't have any way to sift through the noise. Luckily, motivational speakers can help. Subscribe to us for endless motivation.
Now, no matter what field you're in, no matter what field of endeavor, no matter what work, no matter what activity, there is one thing that all successful people have in common, is that they are good time managers. And the reason they are good time managers is because they recognize that time management is life management. It is personal management. I have never seen an example in the hundreds, thousands of biographies and autobiographies I've studied of successful men and women where the individual has not been well organized and efficient and valued and used their times well. Successful people, winners, use their time well. Losers do not. I am going to give you very finest time management ideas ever developed. If you use these ideas systematically, you can increase your personal productivity by 2 or 3 hours a day. You can increase your income. You can increase your rate of promotion. You can increase your life satisfaction. You can even increase the length of time you live. The question is, how badly do you want to learn how to manage your time well? How much effort are you willing to put into it? Because the key to time management is self-discipline. Well, probably the best way to put it is this, is time management is self-discipline in action, and self-discipline is the key to success. So let's get started right now with these. The first idea, the most important of all, the core of time management, the axle around which the wheel of life turns, is goals. What are your goals? What is it that you want to be or to have or to do? What is it that you want to accomplish in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years? The top 3% in every field have goals. The balance of the population have either very vague goals or no goals at all. So the question you have to ask yourself is, who am I? Where am I going? What do I want to accomplish? And there are 3 major areas of goals that you have to think about. The first is your personal and your family goals. These are the reasons why you're alive. What do you want to accomplish for yourself and for your family? Write them down. Define them clearly. The second set of goals that you have to ask is your business, your career, your financial, your material goals. What is it that you want to accomplish in the external world? Where do you want to make your contribution? The third type of goals you have to ask about are your self-development goals. And in my estimation, your ability and your willingness and your tenaciousness in developing yourself is the key to accomplishing everything else. So here's 3 questions that you can ask. The first question is, what would you do? What would you set as a goal for yourself? What would you want to be or have if you just won $1 million in the lottery? What would you do if you just won $1 million? If you had all the time and money, you're completely free to decide to do anything you wanted. If you won $1 million, what would you do differently? Think about that. Hold that in your mind. The second question is, what would you do if you just learned today that you only had 6 months to live? What if you only had 6 months to live? What would you stop doing? What would you do more of? Who would you spend time with? Now, the answer to that question is very interesting because what it tells you is what you really value. What is really important to you? And what we have found is that self-esteem, satisfaction, happiness in life comes from getting your goals and your activities congruent with your values, with your priorities, with what you consider to be really important. Now, here's the third question. The third question is, what one great thing would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail? If you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that you could not fail, what one thing would you set as a goal for yourself? Because sometimes answering that question will tell you the one thing that you've been put on this earth to accomplish. One final point with regard to goals is that goals must be in writing. You must write them down, you must rewrite them, you must define them, you must redefine them. The top 1% of successful people in every area have very clear, specific, written goals. And most of them carry their goals around with them. It's interesting, there are many people who have goals, vague or clear. There are many people who do make plans, but the biggest single problem in human life is setting priorities, determining what is relevant and what is irrelevant. And in setting priorities, an Italian economist named Vilfredo Pareto in 1895 came up with a principle which is called the Pareto Principle. We call it the 80-20 rule. It says that 80% of the value of what you do will be contained in 20% of the things that you do. What does this mean? It means that you make a list of 10 things that you have to do today, you will find that 2 of those things are worth all of the others put together. Now, the difference between highly effective people, as Vilfredo Pareto said, was that highly effective people work on the vital few versus the trivial many. The difference between the two is that ineffective people work on the trivial many. They work on things that are fun. They work on things that are easy. They work on little tasks, fun tasks, irrelevant tasks, but they keep putting off and delaying working on their major tasks. So the key to success is always be asking this question: what is the most valuable use of my time right now? What is the most valuable use of your time right now? I'm convinced that if all you did was organize your life and only work on the most valuable use of your time, that alone would be enough to make you an effective, efficient person. That alone would be enough to increase your productivity, your performance, your profitability, your rewards by 10, 20, 30, 40, even 50%. So always before you begin, ask yourself, is this the most important thing I could be doing? Is this my top priority task? Does this give me the highest payoff? Is this the most valuable use of my time? Now, here is one simple test with regard to value. Ask yourself, in approaching any task, is what impact will the accomplishment of this task have on my future? The futurity of decisions is the key to measuring the value. Most people spend as much as 80% of their time dealing with the problems and difficulties of the past, and only 20% dealing with the opportunities of the future. But successful people are always saying, what impact will this have on the future? So important tasks will always have an impact on the future. Unimportant tasks will only have an impact on the present and maybe even the past. So I say, what is the most valuable use of my time right now, and what impact will this have on tomorrow, the next day, and the future? It's one of the key ways to keep on track with regard to priorities. It's concentration. Concentration, concentration. Many people come to me in my seminars and they say, well, I never learned how to concentrate. I can't concentrate. How do I learn to concentrate? Learning how to concentrate is absolutely essential to success. As a matter of fact, it is impossible for you to accomplish anything worthwhile in life without the ability to concentrate single-mindedly on one thing at a time and stay with it until it's complete. In fact, time and motion studies have shown that if you start a task and you put it down and you come back to it and pick it up and start it and put it down and come back to it and pick it up, that it will take you as much as 500% of the necessary time to do a task than if you picked it up and carried it through. Alec McKenzie, great time management expert, Alec McKenzie calls this single handling. Once you have made a list of what you have to do, organized your goals, determined the highest and most valuable priority, then pick the most important thing and begin working on it and stay with it until it's finished. Now, people say, well, if I stay with this task until it's finished, I won't get anything else done. That doesn't matter. If it's the most valuable thing that you have to do, it's the most important thing that you could be working on. Now, it's a wonderful thing. When you concentrate and work intensely on an important task, it gives you a feeling of energy and enthusiasm. When you complete an important task, your self-esteem goes up. You feel like a winner. You feel great about yourself. But if you work away on low-priority tasks, even if you complete them and do them well, you don't get any bang for the buck. You don't get any excitement or thrill from doing something that's not important. As a matter of fact, most stress, anxiety, frustration in the world of work today comes from working very hard on irrelevant tasks. Benjamin Trigo said, if it's not worth doing, it's not worth doing right. And I think it was Drucker who said, the very worst thing in the world is to do very well what need not be done at all. So concentrate single-mindedly on one task at a time. Do first things first and do things one at a time.
Schedule your time. Scheduling your time reduces stress and releases energy. The very act of using your organizational skills to plan your day, your week, and your month gives you a greater feeling of control and will help increase productivity throughout your day. You'll feel in charge of your life.
Planning your day in advance actually increases your self-esteem and improves your sense of personal power. It gives you a feeling of being in control of your life and your world. Start early. To increase your productivity, start your day early. The more time you take to sit, think, and plan, the better organized you'll be in every area of your life. In the biographies and autobiographies of successful men and women, almost all of them seem to have one thing in common. They develop great organizational skills and the habit of going to bed at a reasonable hour and rising early to start the day. Many successful people arise at 5 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. so that they can have enough time to think and plan for the coming day. As a result, they're always more effective than those who sleep in until the last possible moment. A few minutes of quiet reflection before you begin any undertaking can save you many hours in executing the task. When you get up early and plan your day in advance, you tend to be more calm, more clear-headed, and more creative throughout the day. Organizational skills. Resolve to improve your organizational skills and use a filing system both at home and at work and on your computer. As much as 30% of working time today is spent looking for misplaced items. These are things that are lost because they've not been filed correctly. Does this sound familiar to you? There are few activities so frustrating as spending your valuable time looking for misplaced information and materials because no thought was given to a filing and retrieval system. The best and simplest of all filing systems is an alphabetical system. In conjunction with a filing system, you should have a master list or record of all your files in a single place, like on your desktop. This master list gives you the title of each file and tells you where the file is located. Increase your productivity. With prime time, organize your life so that you're doing creative work during your internal prime time. Your internal prime time is the time of day according to your body clock when you are the most alert and most productive. Now, for most people, this time of highest performance is in the morning, after resting the whole night. For some people, however, night people, it's in the evening. Occasionally, a writer, an artist, or even an entertainer may find that his or her prime time is in the early hours of the morning. Some people actually work all night and then sleep in the morning. So it's important that you be aware of your internal prime time, when you function at your best, so that you can schedule your most important projects accordingly to increase your productivity. Your most important work usually requires that you be at your very best, rested, alert, and creative. What time of the day do you most feel the very best and have the most energy? You must also be aware of what is called external prime time. This is the time when your customers or clients are most readily available. Each person should give some thought to structuring their day for both their external prime time and their internal prime time. Number 6 is air travel productivity. An important area where organizational skills is vital is travel, especially air travel. Everybody is traveling by air today, and most people who fly waste that time when it could be very productive. Some years ago, a company called Hughes Air West, a regional airline that once served the western U.S., hired a consulting firm to compare the efficiency of flying first class with flying economy class and with working in a normal office. What they found was amazing. They found that 1 hour of uninterrupted work time in an airplane yielded the equivalent of 3 hours of work in a normal office work environment. The key word was uninterrupted. If you plan ahead and organize your work before you leave for the airport, you can increase productivity by accomplishing an enormous amount when you are in the air. Use these techniques and use these methods to dramatically increase your productivity in the weeks ahead. There are 2 questions that you can ask on a regular basis to keep yourself focused on getting your most important tasks completed on schedule. The first question is, what are my highest value activities? Put another way, what are the most important tasks you have to complete to make the greatest contribution to your organization, or to your family, or to your life in general? This is one of the most important questions you can ask and answer. What are your highest value activities? First, think this through for yourself, then ask your boss. Ask your coworkers and subordinates. Ask your friends and family. Like focusing the lens of a camera, you must be crystal clear about your highest value activities before you begin work. The second question you can ask continually is, what can I, and only I, do that if done well will make a real difference? This is a great question that comes from Peter Drucker, the management guru. It's one of the best of all questions for achieving personal effectiveness. What can you, and only you, do that if done well can make a real difference? Now, this is something that only you can do. If you don't do it, it won't be done by someone else. But if you do it, and you do it well, it can really make a difference to your life and your career. What is your answer to this question? Every hour of every day, you can ask yourself this question, and there will be a specific answer. Your job is to be clear about the answer and then to start and work on this task before anything else. A friend of mine has just written a book called Words Can Change Your Brain. And what he has found, based on years of intensive work in neuroscience, is that certain words have a tremendous impact on the way you think and feel, positive or negative. So the part of this segment is to change your language for a positive outlook. For example, in flying, the word attitude refers to the angle or flight of your approach relative to the horizon. Well, if you lower or raise the nose of the plane, you change the attitude of the plane. The way you think about a problem determines your attitude or approach as well. Here are 3 words that you can use to change your attitude and your approach to any difficulty you face. First of all, change the word problem to the word situation. Whereas problem is a negative word that triggers feelings of fear and anxiety, situation is a neutral word. So instead of saying we have a problem, you can say we have a situation. My personal preference is to change the word problem to the word challenge. Whenever something goes wrong, immediately say, well, we have an interesting challenge facing us today. You see, challenge is a positive word. When you think of a challenge, you think of something that you rise to, something that brings out the best in you and others. Challenges are what make life exciting and worth living. By rising to the challenges of day-to-day life, you fulfill more and more of your potential. Perhaps the best word of all is opportunity. Instead of saying we have a problem, you can say we have an unexpected opportunity. Napoleon Hill was famous for saying, every problem or difficulty you face contains the seed of an equal or greater advantage or benefit. Your job is to find the benefit. Look for the good in every situation, and this way of approaching a problem is determined by your attitude. The attitude of looking for the good in every situation, of looking for the advantage or benefit in any problem or difficulty, is the way that the most successful people think most of the time. Superior people, leaders in all areas, face the inevitable ups and downs of daily life on the way to their destinations by taking complete control of their thinking and their emotions. And they do this by choosing the words they use to describe a situation, their tone of voice, and their behavior in dealing with problems. A mark of maturity, a vital quality on the road to success and happiness and balance in life, is expecting problems and difficulties as normal, natural, and unavoidable parts of life. You can never avoid them. They come, as they say, like the waves of the ocean. Problems never stop. Becoming a superior person requires accepting that when you set off toward a big, exciting goal or destination, you will experience unexpected turbulence. One of the marks of leaders is they don't like to fail, but they know that they're going to fail over and over again on the road to success. Thomas J. Watson Sr., the founder of IBM, was once asked by a young journalist how he could be more successful faster, And he said, if you want to be more successful, faster, he said, you must double your rate of failure. Success lies on the far side of failure. And the way that you succeed and fail and succeed is learn from every experience. Look for the good. Call it a situation, a challenge, or an opportunity to keep your mind positive and creative as you work your way through it.
is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky on your mind.